the higher up the food chain in the court you go, you have to have a lawyer. You're forced to have a lawyer if you're going to play that game.
Yep.
Now that's denied because most people don't have that. Now legal aid will make a judgment on whether your accessibility to a certain amount of funds. You don't get unlimited funds.
Yep.
And they say, well, this should be managed in the summary jurisdiction. Most cases can't get a fair trial because you don't get a chance to speak. And if you do hire a lawyer, they'll just convince you and working with the system that their interest is to support the court network to make sure it functions at a level which is acceptable to them, as opposed to you getting a fair hearing. So two things, the Supreme Court rules, if we don't know our Constitution, we don't know whether they're breaching those rules in the Constitution or the fact that we get a chance to have a fair say.
That's right. Yeah, look, there's a couple of points in there, so let me deal with it. The Supreme Court is empowered to make its own rules by virtue of the state constitution. However, as we know, no law or regulation can be made that, pursuant to section 109 of the Commonwealth Constitution, is inconsistent with the Commonwealth Constitution. Okay? So, if any regulation or law made at state level is inconsistent with a Commonwealth law or with the Commonwealth Constitution, it's invalid.
But then again, a lawyer would know that, and most people would know that either. A lawyer won't refer to the Constitution on the guidance on their court rules. And how many lawyers know the Constitution? Like, if you say you've only taught 3,000 people, that's not every lawyer in the land. And I don't know how many people are doing your job in other places of learning, higher learning, where they're learning that as well. So without that knowledge, we're really under the gun. We don't know how to go about it, no matter what the issue is, whether it's overwhelming evidence to say the person's done wrong, or whether it's an issue of dispute over technicalities. We haven't got a clue in facing that unless we hire a lawyer whose main objective and loyalty is to make sure the system runs.
Yeah, well, it's right now. It's a trustee.
Look, the question you're putting is a completely valid one. It's completely valid for you to say that it's a difficult technical issue to determine whether or not a regulation of some sort or a law of some sort is inconsistent with the Commonwealth Constitution. It's not easy to decide that. And the High Court's developed 3 different tests to work that out. And even then, judges of the High Court sometimes disagree with each other about how those tests ought to be applied. So it's complicated. It's complicated. Where I think you're right in your question, is in saying not enough lawyers, particularly those who aren't in the High Court or the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal, know enough about the Constitution sometimes to pick that there's a constitutional point in the case. Okay? But if you say to a lawyer, look, I think there's a constitutional point, then they're obliged to have a look at it.
Should these be addressed when things are made rules or laws in the Attorney General's office or whatever, when they check these things out? Should they have enough power to see whether a court ruling is not consistent with a constitutional matter?
Yeah. In a perfect world, yes. But we don't have a perfect world. Every year we have cases going to the High Court saying this state law is inconsistent under section 109 with the Commonwealth law. But it wasn't picked up at the time that the state law was made.
So in other words,
that's just the way the system works.
The balance of we should be more. There should be more objectiveness towards us as opposed to them that know the law in a technical sense. So we should get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. Look, if you think you've got a constitutional point, tell your lawyer that you've got a constitutional point and say that. Say you want them to look at it.
Why are you insisting on lawyer?
Say you want to have a look at it. But where I don't agree with you, is when you say that every lawyer is in there to prop up the system.
You're all opposite. I think you're under a misconception.
But you cannot be you wouldn't go and get someone out there who might learn, well, I want to be a lawyer, apply for the job. So there's going to be equality there. You have to be a lawyer, know that, okay, I want to be a judge or a magistrate. So it's a closed shop. So someone might know constitutional things will make it more highly principled than, say, a lawyer who gets the doubt that, you know, the fact that what their principles are all about. It's a closed shop, so how do you get in there?
Well, you know,
So what did Darryl...
Just a minute. The straightforward answer to your question is you're not going to get to be a judge unless you've got a law degree and you've practiced law. That's the way it works. But you're not going to get to be a heart surgeon unless you've got a medical degree and you've practiced medicine. Not any different. It's not a club. That's just what you've got to do. There's no point having people on the High Court who know nothing about constitutional law. Wouldn't work. Okay? Wouldn't work. However, you know, what I'm saying to you is there are a lot of lawyers out there who are out just for the money. That's true. You know, let's accept that. But in my view, that's not nearly the majority of lawyers. And you've got buckets of people in the law who are interested actually in this fundamental concept of justice. Fundamental concept of justice. The organisation I'm president of, Liberty Victoria, is the most significant advocacy organisation for civil liberties and justice in Victoria. And on my committee I've got 30 lawyers, and we're all committed to the same thing. And there are other organisations like us. So I just won't buy the fact that every lawyer's, you know, there to advance the system. And on the other hand, I'm not going to deny to you that some of them are. But I wouldn't say it was the majority.
All right, look, we've got nothing like the time we need to go through everything here tonight. What we're going to do now is break for our cup of tea and our biggies, courtesy of Ivan, I saw Ivan come in loaded with goodies, and we must personally thank Ivan, every one of us, for the way that he makes these meetings very interesting gastronomically. And we'll break for a cup of tea, and I'm sure that as we mingle, you'll have time to approach the Honourable Professor one-on-one. Our guest tonight has indicated that he will come back. And if you'd like to see him again, put your hand up. Okay, I think that says yes. Now he has to leave in a few minutes, but on behalf of us all, I'd like to say to the Professor, thank you so much for coming. It's been informative. Biblical encyclical that says you can only sharpen diamonds with diamonds.
Yep.
And we've had a diamond here, and he's been rubbing up against some very abrasive people. So let's hope that.
I want to thank you for the invite, and I've said to the chair, I like you so much. I'll be back next year.
Well, next year. That's lovely. And thank you very much. We've got a few machinery things to deal with and a bit of other business. Normally we'd be knocking off about now, but tonight's been so interesting.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
No. This cup, mate. Cup. couple of other things we've got. Now, I've been asked to make a couple of announcements. One of our members has indicated that we can get a notary public to come to the meeting. Now, you know what a notary public is? Yeah. Notary public was an office created in 1533 by Henry VIII when he told the Pope to bugger off. And because the Pope appointed them up until 1533. And a notary public is actually a direct representative of the sovereign through the Archbishop of Canterbury. Now, they're currently in some states appointed by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, but in Victoria they're still ordained in a church before they take up what's called a faculty. Their faculty is their ability to notarise documents. Now, we've got a series of documents that Ken's got. He charges $2 each for them. So if you want one, get one off Ken. And let Darryl and I know if you're interested in having a notary come along. Now, a notary does not do his magic, if you want to call it that, but he does not notarise a document for nothing. He puts a royal seal on it, the seal of the notary. He enters the name in a book that he keeps, so you've got a permanent record of who you are. And what we're saying is that each and every one of us is entitled to be a Commonwealth public official because of the authority given to us by the Parliament of the Commonwealth. All the notary does is says, I've looked at this claim of right by these people and I seal it and register it in my book. Now, I saw a gentleman who's got one of them. I'll hold one up. I saw a gentleman who's got one of them, and he's got. And if Alan stands up and flashes his
ID.
He's got an ID.
Don't go any lower.
And you know, we've got these little car stickers and all the rest of it, and this backs it up. Now, I saw someone with one of these get accosted by a railway ticket inspector. We've never seen one of them before. Where did you get it from? Canberra. Okay.
They've never seen an oath before either, Peter.
Right.
17 years. They've
What?
never seen an oath before either.
Well, whatever, you know. But anyway, this is the announcement. So we can have a show of hands of people who would be prepared to use the services.
What is the cost, Peter?
Of a notary public. I think it will probably be $80, but we'll probably get a discount.
Is that right? $80? What? Sorry?
No.
The notary that I use to charge is $55.
55, is it? And that's what he'd come here and charge?
What's it
He
entirely
won't charge anymore.
Okay. All right. We've got the national competition models.
We're all doing it. If we all do it on the one day, it's obviously more cheaper than
He wants to know how many. So if you want to
No, he wants to know how many.
put your hand up.
Whoa. God blimey, you just about financed the national debt with that many people.
You haven't got that many fingers.
Anyway, we'll see if we can organise it. And now, how many of you got the report of the event in Kalgoorlie on your email? I tried to include it to as many as possible. Now, obviously not everybody's got their name on my email list, but share it around. It's a fair report of a public event in a kangaroo court in Western Australia. Now, I hit one of them bloody kangaroos crossing Ballindoni. Unfortunately, it was the wrong one. It should have been the one on the bench. But anyway, no great harm done. It just broke me bumper bar and me headlight and splattered my car with glass. But I was blessed and I continued on my way.
Sorry, we're going back to public notaries. Kate was just asking, what does a public notary do? What are they?
Well, a public notary notarises a document. He protests bills of exchange. They were Henry VIII. They used to use them. The Pope used to use